Karibuni kwenye show. As usual ni Wednesday na ni ladies night. Tuko na nyinyi kutoka 7 p.m. hadi 9:30 p.m. kwenye KTN Burudani. Na as usual tunaongelea topics ambazo zina affect madem, tunawaletea inspirational women with inspirational stories and standard procedure, music for the heart. And we have a special guest today. Najua mnampenda sana. He needs no introduction, but for the purposes of guys at home, we will introduce him. Dr. Fenike, karibu kwenye stage na sisi.
Let me come the way you are coming. Being honest, did you see yourself? Let me show you. Did you apply to be a woman? Because you can resign.
You invite someone to your home, and this is what they do.
Can you go do it again? Let's go do it again. Aya, from there, I want to see the way you climbed. I want to see the way you climbed the stairs. All right, there. Aya, 1, 2, 3, let's go. Oh, God. Oh, my goodness. It's not because I didn't have, I just felt like I needed to pass by your show. I was passing by the studios. So I was at KTN home. Then I had people making noise in the studios. I said, let me come and see what is going on. And I'm happy to be here.
We're very grateful you're here. We always have time for you. So
Thank
next
you
week, Pia, we should expect you.
Next week, because I have a date with Nicki Minaj.
Okay.
So my time will be a little bit limited. But today I will try my best. Yeah, Nicki Minaj. Baby, whatever you are. Okay, sorry. Let me control myself.
That's how you know it's ladies' night. We're here to have a good time. Nimetuonyesha tu hapo just now. He's shown us how he's gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
And tell me, how's your week been?
My week has been busy. I just in and out of banks. Yeah.
Hey, kwa hivyo, you guys, you know what that means.
Yeah, I've been in and out. You know, ladies like me. You know, money is a very big thing. Let me tell you, Laura, nobody should ever let you that money is not good. Even you are here making noise in front of this camera. Because of what?
Money.
Yes. Thank you very much. Even this cameraman over here, don't deny it. You're here because of money. So work hard. Okay, sorry.
So in and out of banks. Umehesabiwa, have you been counted?
Sensors. They missed my house. But I closed it. I'll say it now that they've already done with the process. I'll say it live. I did not let them in. These people were telling me when the census guys were going, smelling at the door first. If there's food, they are entering. They did not enter my pastor's house. My pastor was praying and fasting, so they didn't enter there. Going to look. Why are you counting food or counting people? Nonsense. Counting the number of sufurias. Why would you go and ask somebody from Roysambu? Somebody lives in a bedsitter. Do you have a car? Oh, this one does not even have a driving license yet. Do you have a car?
All the same to Napenda. If you're watching us from your bedsitter, your mansion, anywhere, Karibu, this
don't
is
lie to them. Why are you consoling them? You live in a bedsitter. Why are you? Those who live with their landlord in the same estate. Have you ever lived with your landlord in the same estate?
Yes.
You cannot even cook meat when your landlord is eating sukuma wiki. Okay, let's behave ourselves.
This is going to be a very hard show for people at home, so please bear with me. But today we're going to be talking about things that Nyinyi at home are important to you and every other female out there. And this is not only for the females, so also the guys who need some of this information.
Why are you so And of course, our social media handles.
So communicate with us on the hashtag KTN Ladies Night. On Twitter, it's KTN_Ladies Night. On Instagram, KTN Ladies Night. And on Facebook, KTN Ladies Night.
And of course, at Ladies Man. That is my Twitter handle.
That's Dr. Funika. He is the ladies' man.
Yeah.
And on tonight's show, he is our man of interest.
Do you know I was former Mr. Nigeria, 1997. Oh, you should have seen me, Laura. Now, let me show you how real men should catwalk. Now, even if you don't have a chest, you push it to the front in faith. You beat here so that it comes here, like this. This is how now we used to model back in those days. So you come like this, then it stands like Flintstone. Remember Flintstone? Hey, that time Genevieve Naji was a very small guy. We were busy around the village together. But I refused. I'm the only man who was able to reject Genevieve Naji. You know how? Okay. You know Akode? Yeah, I just need to know if you know Akode. That's it. So let's start up on the show.
So I'm sorry guys, today's going to be a very heavy show for me. But as you can see guys, we're wearing a natural look because we have one of the brand ambassadors for Marini Naturals with us who will be joining our panel to discuss finances and women and marriage.
I cannot do it. It's the reason why I'm on this show.
Kabisa.
I will deal with you people. Man, boy, child, don't want. Today, I am here to fight for your rights.
We shall see. And on top of that, we're going to have a very inspirational woman who's working with NGOs, and we're going to have her just right about now so that we can have our first segment of the show. And her name is Nyambura, and she works with Inspire Spaces NGO. This NGO works to educate the young children in different counties. So far, I think they've been to 3 counties. They build schools, they provide books, and they also have another initiative where they help people during the menstrual cycle, not women, but children, the girl child. And I named to Kujianda or Anda, something like that.
Kujianda. I think it's Kujianda, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think it's very important that I think it's important that we all keep on having these guys in the society who are really sold out to make sure that every single person has what they didn't, probably what you don't get on a daily basis, probably from shelter to education to food to clothes. And of course, Nyambura is great. I think she's an amazing part of I think she's an amazing part of and I think she's an amazing part of the society. And I think it's good that we have her on the show as well.
Amazing.
Yes.
So right about now, we will welcome Nyambura to our set so that we can carry on with our first segment of the show.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, Nyambura, here she comes.
Girl, you're behind is a killer. I can see you sensual. The way you wriggle and waver, you must be intentional.
Just as I predicted, this was going to be a very hard show to continue, but welcome back from the break, and we're still here with Dr. Funike himself, the funny man on set, and the beautiful Nyambura. Karibu sana. So, tell us, Nyambura, tell us about you first before we get into your project.
Yeah. So I'm Nyambura Mudhen Njoroge. That's my full name. I currently work in public health. That's my training. My graduate training was in public health. But I also do a lot of volunteer work. And I've been doing that for the last 2 years, 2 or so years.
It's clear from how you're talking. You have not been around so much. I'm just in 2 years. I'm like, oh goddamn girl, talk to her even more. You don't reside in the country, do you?
I do actually.
Are you sure?
I do.
You must be from USIU.
No, no, no. But I did just come back from the States 2 years ago.
So yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. Those 2 years you've been doing public health, was it here locally or did you do it from the States?
Yeah, so I received my graduate training in New York, and I did that for 2 years. But I lived in the States for about 10 years. And then I came back in 2017 because I really wanted to come back home and work from here. I did a little bit of work in the States, but I kind of felt like this is where I can have more impact. So that's why I moved back 2 years ago.
I mean, many guys who are watching, you'll be like, God, are you serious? Who moves back to Africa after getting to America? I know, like us Nigerians, let me tell you, the most important passport to a Nigerian is not even the Nigerian passport. It's the United States. I mean, you get a visa, you go dancing around the oracle.
I wouldn't imagine someone would come back home to work at Kenyatta. But I don't know if it was the same experience for you, because standard procedures, like when you study medicine, which is normally in public hospitals, you get your first attachment in Kenyatta. And I know people dread staying here. If they had the option, they'd stay. So when you came back, where were you placed?
Yeah, so I get that question a lot. Everyone's like, why would you come back? Especially because I had a job offer in New York and I had a job offer in Kenya, and everyone's like, that's like a no-brainer. You stay in New York.
Yeah, like it's New York or where. I feel so much at home when you talk, because I spend much of my time in the US, around a week.
That's a lot of your time. Got it. But I applied to a job, and I was lucky because I know not everyone just gets a job as soon as they get back. But I was lucky enough and blessed enough to find a job, and it was in digital health, which is something that I really wanted to explore. And so for me, I really wanted to come and experience the problems as they are in Africa, because, I can sit in New York and hear about the issues, but I really wanted to get into the field and understand what people are actually going through, because I really truly believe Africans are the only ones who can find African solutions, right? Like, it's not
That's true.
the person in New York sitting in a boardroom making a decision. For me, it's more about, let's, as Africans, step up and
Yeah.
actually find solutions
So
to our issues.
public health aside, you have a project with you have an initiative called Inspire Spaces,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So why from public health to now this? Is it all these problems at once, like Superman, or they're all
Wow, I
connected?
like that. You use that to use that. More like Avenger, like that. That's what in New York. More like Avenger, like kind of thing. Like I sound like sound like we are hosting Kim Kardashian.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, all right. Answer the question.
Yeah, sure. So it's kind of all connected in a way. So Inspire Spaces was actually started by one of my really dear friends that I met when I lived in Dallas. So I lived in Dallas for most of my years in the States. And so it was founded out of a dream, really. My friend Fred Ndavi, he's the one who founded it. And he is a local guy from Makueni who ended up in Dallas and ended up doing school in Dallas, but also felt the need to come back home and make a difference and have an impact. And so in 2012, I think, is when initially Inspire Spaces was thought about. And then in 2015 is when we actually created the scholarship program, and about the first 10 students were sponsored for high school. So it was kind of born out of, Kenya, we have free primary school education, but what happens to the kids that are really, really good in primary school, but who have no money to go into high school? And so that was kind of the solution. And so how I got connected is because another part of Inspire Spaces is not just giving kids school money and saying, all right, go ahead and, it's more about character development and leadership development. And so Fred found a group of his friends who are doing like public health or have PhDs or doing all these amazing things to kind of come and inspire these children. And so every August and every December we have a mentorship camp. And in August we do it's like a giving back. So part of character development is making sure that these kids, even if they're from vulnerable backgrounds, feel like they can give back something, even if it's not monetary, if it's not, they can give their time, because they have a lot of that. They can give their love, they can give their mentorship and their leadership. And so every August we have them come and we go into a school that is dilapidated and the classes are, not painted or the windows are broken and all of that. And we kind of just overhaul the whole school and build more desks and paint the whole school. And then in December is when we have more of the mentorship, where we have inspiring people who've done amazing things come in and inspire these kids to more than they can ever think, just coming from their vulnerable background.
Let me just ask, because the world is changing, and good thing you're coming from a very exposed environment whereby it's when guys are being advised about career, it's more. It's the talks are now changing from academic strength more to artistic strength. And I'm just asking, now you guys even here, are you focusing now? You just have to have an A, or with that D minor, and I can. Do I still get a chance to be like, nah, you're a dummy? What is the criteria of getting these kids?
Absolutely. So in order for you to get the scholarship, you do have to have a 350 and above in the KCPE. But that's just the criteria to get you into the scholarship program. But we focus on orphans and people who have the grandparents are taking care of them. But then we actually realized that the educational system in Kenya is more about pass the exam, right?
Yeah.
So
They're listening.
So what we've really tried to do is kind of get these kids out of that mentality of I just have to pass and I have to get an A. While we do insist on, it's great that you make good grades, the part of character development and part of career development that we focus on is what are you good at? What do you have in your hands, right? And we even have other people that are not necessarily A students, somebody who's really great at photography, somebody who's really great at something very artistic, to come and inspire these kids to know that even if I don't make an A, even if I don't make a B, while I'm striving for that, yes, like there are other means of
That I
making
can
it
see.
in life, right?
Exactly.
And so we even have the person that does our photography and videography. Some of the kids come up and they're like, oh, how do I do that? Like, show me how to do
Yeah.
that, right? Because that's their interest. And you can't stifle that and say, oh, no, you have to make an A
Yeah.
and go to university. While that's great and that's encouraged, that's not the only thing that we're
No, I
helping
think
these
because
kids do.
I'm so passionate about
Yeah.
art because I'm coming from a legal background into the weirdest of careers, comedy. So when my parents are like, who does that? They're like, boy, that comedy of nonsense
Yeah.
better work. But now that I'm driving a nice car, they're like, hey, at least they work. So I was really passionate about that, just to get to understand. Are you guys just mainly focusing on academic strength? But it's a good thing, and
Yeah.
I think the world will have you guys to thank for
So
50 years from now.
yeah, like he's saying, you know, it's not, you specialize in advancing them personally based on their interests and whatnot. But like you mentioned, the way you get into the program is if you have 350 and above. So this means you have an opportunity to access you. So it's not they come in search of you. So what happens when, you know, there's street children who don't get this kind of education and have no idea that something like this is going on? Is it more about the quality of the service you're giving, or so you can't approach these people because it's not about the quantity but quality?
Yeah, absolutely. So we recognize that we can't do it alone, right? Like there's only so much Inspire Spaces can do. And as much as, you know, we've grown from 10 kids in 2015 to now there's 160 something kids. It's, you know, we definitely hope that we can reach more kids and we can, you know, reach out to these kids. But we recognize also we can't do it alone, and that's why we kind of want to spread the word around. Is if you can come partner with us, right? If you know of somebody, if you know of like right now we have kids from Kibera, right? And those came to us because of the need that we saw with kids just getting lost basically in Kibera. We started with Makweni because that's where our founder is from, and that's, you know, that's his home ground, and so he wanted to give back to his home ground. But then we kind of recognize that we can't just think that people from, you know, the rural areas are the ones that actually need it. All these kids in Nairobi and who are coming from the slums and they have nowhere to go, right? Like, what are we going to do about them? And so we just kind of started to invite them in, hoping that we'll get more in the next year. But yeah, it's definitely growing.
And I know it must be hard because, you know, like, well, a lot of kids, especially from tough backgrounds, you know, you go to school to change your life, to make it better. So school is your safe space. But what happens when school is okay, I'm there for 3 months, you know, there's no midterm, fine. And then I go home and it's a whole you know, it's a whole lifestyle change. What happens there?
Yeah, and so I kind of mentioned it a little bit, but we have programs in April, in August, and in December. So we make sure that even if they're not in school, we are having touch points with them. So in April, we have the parents meeting, and the kids are invited as well. And that's where we talk about, you know, how you're doing in school, are you, like, mental health issues, because we recognize also these kids having come from really, really vulnerable backgrounds, face things that none of us could ever imagine ever facing, right? You talk to a kid and they tell you about their young life and you're like,
You're an adult
how?
already.
Like, how?
like-
Yeah, like, you know, a kid in standard 8 taking care of their 11 siblings, that's not normal, right? And them having to fend for themselves, it's not like anybody else is
You sound like you're the one who went through the culture shock. You're like, oh my god!
No, no, I would love for you to come and listen to these kids.
No, but
You will have a culture shock.
I wouldn't mind because
Yeah.
when you talk about this, the reason why I'm listening keenly and getting emotional at some point is because I went through services. It's because I remember for me, because when you talk about kids going to school with and the classrooms are not in a very good structure, whereby I've been there, whereby we had to go to classrooms whereby they've been made out of cow dung and mud, when guys have to work on food. So when you talk about this, it's a good thing. Please, next time when you're having that mentorship, please
I
come.
will hold you
Please,
to that.
please hold me now.
I will
come
hold you
there.
to
I
it.
must come to it.
Absolutely.
But it's a good thing. And let me so just in connection to as you were answering the question, because you're already empowering the students and kids in bracket. But what happens to the parents?
Yeah.
Is there a way they're being empowered economically? Are you guys opening a small circles? Because Kenyans are big on circles and chamas. I open like a group of mamas. They say you're gonna have a stall for managu. You're gonna have a stall for cabbage. Are you also empowering the parents as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that we recognized was also in most of these families their families are really big, right? Like, so you have the kid who gets the scholarship and then you have like 6 kids after that, right? And so we realized we can't necessarily educate all 6, right? We have to somehow help this mother or this grandmother or aunt or whoever's taking care of these kids come out of that mentality of just handouts and find a way to get their family out of poverty. And so we've partnered with some organizations like Beacon of Hope in Rongai, and so they do a lot of women's empowering. They teach them how to either like keep chicken or make baskets or whatever it is that they have that they can do. And so what we do in April in the parents meeting that I was talking about is we actually focus on the parents, and we help them come up with like groups, right? If they all come up from like a village together, they can all come up with an idea and say, oh, what if we kept chickens, or what if we had a sacco, what if whatever it is that will help them come out of that, because it's more about empowering, less about just handing things out to people.
Nice.
Yeah. So, for instance, like you've gotten the secondary school education, but here is a market you're coming into where it's very competitive. There's people from private schools, people like you've come back from the States, and it's very, very competitive. Do you guys give them opportunities maybe within your NGO, or do you have placements within other companies and agencies where they can work, or how does it happen? You got on your certificate.
How do they get absorbed?
Be free,
or just like, oh my God, I'm done with the KCSE, go to the world.
That's great question, and I love that you asked that because so this year is the first year that we have kids in college, and actually we were getting right before I got here, we were getting pictures of them setting up their dorms and setting up their class or their like rooms and stuff, and it was really cool. Their hostels, and it was really cool to see because most of them passed with C+ and above, so they were able to just go into a college, but also we have opportunities in Inspire Spaces. So the kids don't just, once they graduate, they don't just go away, right? They have to come back and keep giving back and keep doing those projects with us. So in August, they get an opportunity to basically intern with us, right? And because now they're out of high school. And so they do a lot of community work. They do a lot of leadership opportunities that we give them. Obviously, we can't have all of them because right now we have 10, but the class after this one is like 50 kids, right? So we have to find other organizations that are willing to host these kids. But the good thing is in our networks, we have a lot of people who are in great organizations that have, want to give that opportunity to the kids that are in Inspire Spaces. So once we have that influx of like 50 kids coming in, we will definitely need a lot more help. So
Beautiful. So how can guys get you? I don't know.
Yeah.
You have an office, you're from the house, you're from the laptop. Let's just Skype. We'll be fine.
So the best way is to visit inspirespaces.org, and then you'll find the contact us at the bottom, and that it goes straight to our founder or goes straight to our project officer who's able to let us know. You can also contact me. I can leave my email or something. And we're very reachable. We always love to have people who are inspiring and want to give back and help out come and help out.
Man. No, siwezi concentrate na masikio inaenda na sorry.
Your email,
yeah. So inspirespaces.org, that's the website, and you can contact us there. There's a very obvious contact us button there that you can find. So
I know most guys are conversing on social media. I think
Yeah.
they'll be they're like,
I was
yeah.
waiting for Instagram,
Yeah,
Twitter.
Instagram page is
Yes,
our-
we do have an Instagram page. I don't know how updated it is though,
Mm.
but we do have one. It's Inspire Spaces on Instagram. I don't think we have a Facebook, but Inspire Spaces on Instagram. You should be able to find us as well.
Okay, that's amazing. You know, like it's nice to hear that people are working towards empowering people, and it's not only within the educational bounds, like the way he said. It's also in the artistic ways, because you're so confined in in the fact that you have to be a doctor, you have to be a lawyer for you to be successful. And I mean, we can only have so much of something. So it's very nice that people are looking out for our interests, our personal interests, despite the fact that the world is just what it is. You know, so that's amazing. Thank you so much for coming on to the
Thank
show.
you so
All
much
the
for
best,
having
and,
me.
please, like I've said, please make sure you contact me. Please,
I
when
will
I'm
hold you
ready.
to it. No worries.
And I
Let's
think
go.
anytime you're in New York, I think you should
And
just.
whatever. Are you still going to New York? Let's talk about the States more about that girl.
I will
but
go
I've-
visit, but I live here now.
The,
So.
the problem is I don't know why I find New York weird, because my best time is always either in LA or in Atlanta or Dallas, but I find New York just in its own
Yeah,
world.
New York is a different.
I know it's like a whole planet
Yeah,
in its own.
it's very different.
Producer is so jealous. You know, the farthest he's been is in Mogadishu and Kismayo.
I know, I'm also not complaining. I think my best place is Mombasa Road here at my workplace.
Oh
my
my
producers can please pass the message on. And, you know, we enjoy all of that. And it's nice to have you on the show. Breath of fresh air, you know, like people looking out for our own personal interests. If we can't do it for ourselves, then we shouldn't expect anyone else to do it for us.
Absolutely.
So that was Nyambura from Inspire Spaces NGO, and she has given you all the information on where to reach her and what you need to do in order to be part of the program of the scholarship program. The show is KTN Ladies Night. We'll be back after the break.